The guy's over there building something. I don't know what it is yet. I may have to sneak over and look. Curiosity and all. All the kitties are here. Everybody's doing good. Marty and Stripe came inside to see me for a little bit. The squirrels were pretty active again last night. The metal bowl squirrels, raccoons, were pretty active last night. This water bowl got emptied over here, and I saw the one on the front porch out the door is not where it's supposed to be and empty also. So pretty busy. Let me get them refilled. It's going to be another hot day. Good morning, everyone. I've got a cloudy morning here in the low 70s, but I'm sure the sun will pop through anytime. Yeah, I've been watching the Carolina wren babies are up there in the nest crying for mama. I saw the wren come and go a few times yesterday, and I hear the babies. Way cool. Morris and Stripe are here too. It's time for me to refresh water bowls. Well, everything Stripe that way has been watered this morning. And a few things on this side, like here. But that's about where the hose stops, about here. Maybe I'll catch the other stuff later. I did water the big trees. I got my fountain cleaned out. It had algae in it. The plate underneath that I don't do every day. Don't try to come cause trouble. He's just he's in his space. Good morning, Panther. Hey, bud. Hi. Hello. You have such pretty eyes. And there goes Stripe for his morning walk. Hey, buddy. Being very careful. Good morning. Hi there. Hi. She ate better yesterday. She did. More normal. She goes, I know stuff's going on though. Yeah. Hi. Hi. Hey, Missy. Hey, Missy. We're going for a walk. It's 10:30 a.m. I told Dawn I need a chicken for the kitty, so.
Yeah, but it's not super hot and it's cloudy and sun's not likely to break through.
Yeah, they changed it so we have a small rain chance today, but it's not looking, you know, particularly good. I was hoping if I watered half the yard this morning, then it would rain, you know, like waste my time, but help me out on the other side. I don't think I'm gonna get that. I don't think I'm gonna get that lucky. So one could ask, why are we driving Jules around when there's a problem with Jules? And yes, the message is still up on the screen and stuff. Well, it's mostly because we're used to it. And, oh, they like ran a line up here, an orange cable, telephone or electric or, oh, well, it can't be electric laid across the ground. Cable or telephone or something, yeah. And, you know, besides the fact that we're used to it, all our weight gear is in the back, our hats, our normal exercise gear, and Ruby's got mom's stuff in her, and it just doesn't work out very good to switch the stuff to Ruby, so we probably wouldn't. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say the other thing is it's very clear that it's safe to drive.
Right, it's just not good performance, not good smooth feeling.
If you're in turtle mode, you know, basically.
Yeah, well, it actually shows the turtle.
Right. And whenever I backed out of the garage, it changed it to just a little circle with the turtle.
Yeah, it says power limited, okay to drive.
Right, so.
I mean, is there a risk that it wouldn't restart like it told us? We guess so, but we're just gonna back in and not, you know, if we had to be towed, make it where that's possible, so.
Right, well, the other thing is, you know, right now, August 9th is a long time away.
Yep.
I mean, driving or not driving for that length of time, I mean, I wish we could get us, and look, Tesla service, getting an appointment, all that stuff, it's, you know, it is what it is. And
Yeah, I'm more, well, first off, I don't expect them to have whatever part we need necessarily on site. I would hope they could get it in 2 to 3 days, though, once they knew the car had been identified as severely crippled, not drivable, not right. But we got to work the process to get the part here that they need for the appointment. So I'm just waiting for the estimate in the Tesla app. I guess I could go check this morning.
I checked last night and it wasn't there, but that doesn't mean it's not there this morning. But I'd also like to say, I just accelerated out from that left turn, and a person who's driving a gas car would be still blown away with the acceleration turtle mode has. I mean, I don't know. Look, it's different. It's not. I can feel it. It is less, but it's not 90% less. It's like 10%, 15, 20% less. Of course, now I didn't floor it because I didn't have to. You know, I don't want to put any unnecessary strain on anything. If I'm going to accelerate at the rate I need to safely move out from, and I just did the classic Tesla. I can shoot that gap. I'm in an electric car and I can go. You know, Marianne busted me a couple weeks ago. She said, "You're not in the Tesla." I was in the GMC and I did one of those little shootout in the traffic type maneuvers. And of course, the GMC is lumbering out there like all gas cars do. And you know,
it's actually the van, I think. But well, yeah, whatever. Either way, it could have been either one.
My point is that I just did it, and I could tell it wasn't as oomphy as it used to be, but it was plenty of oomph. So I would say a gas car, a person driving a gas car sat in the car right now and drove it for the first time, assuming they didn't see that, they would never know that they're in a turtle mode, and they would think it's the fastest car they ever drove.
Right. And for those of you wondering, Jules is at just under 25,000 miles now. So we have a whole year. Well, that doesn't count the drive unit as longer, right? It's like, I don't remember what it is, but it doesn't, the drive unit's covered past 4 years, 50,000 miles. But,
yeah,
but we have a year and 25,000 miles before we have to worry about being out of warranty with this car. So hopefully they'll fix it the first time and life will be good again for another 3 years.
Right.
Because like Don said, this is the first thing we've had not right with this car. We had a rattle at the beginning and one piece of rubber missing from one of the back doors.
And the rear window didn't go back up all the way. Remember, Rick came out and fixed the rear window.
Did he adjust the window on Jules? I know he adjusted the one on, or he did something to Ruby's window.
Yeah, something with the window.
Yeah, anyway, it was like, we had 2 early service visits for what I'm going to say was cosmetic stuff. No post-delivery remediation. I don't know what you want to call it, but it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
And so you really can't complain about that. We've just been hopping in this car, driving, not having any maintenance, haven't even put tires on it. Of course, you know, Ruby had all those miles, so when you got to figure that in. But anyway.
Doing the same.
So Don's changing his mind. Tell him.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's actually the front drive motor that is not working, not doing its fair share, and it's the rear that's driving the car. The reason is the steering absolutely feels funny, but it might feel funny for the opposite reason that I first thought. I thought it was pulling. The tug on the wheel is different. So I was accrediting that to the torque of the front motor, but you know, it might actually be just the opposite. The front motor is not pulling at all, and the rear motor's doing all the work. And so the lack of that subtle little extra torque steer on the front motor, because the front motor's not driving the car or helping, is the thing that's I'm feeling. It's the steering feels different. And it's just, but the seat of my pants, my butt in the seat, makes me think it's the rear drive motor that's doing all the work. So that I guess I'm saying is I now believe
decide.
I think if you ask me to bet, I'd bet the rear motor is still working and the front drive motor isn't. And that's probably why a moment ago when I just said I tried to explain turtle mode, I'm not saying the front drive motor does a lot of the work when you're driving around town. I think the rear motor acceleration still does a lot of the heavy accelerating. So that's why I didn't really notice it that much.
Right, that we have a lot of regen. It feels like the brakes are grabbing when Dawn is slowing down, period. You know, worse than normal.
It's not smooth.
Worse than normal for the performance-wise. Very grabby. It feels like brakes grabbing, but it's not. It's this like mega regen thing happening. And you said you think regen is from the rear motor, not the front motor?
Yeah, I don't think the front motor really does regen. I think all the regen's from the rear motor. But that, you know, that could be changed with the software thing and over the years. And when I read that was years ago, and that was on talking about the S and the X. And it's very possible, you know, now that they've gone to permanent magnet motors and all these things, that the regens in the could be both motors or be very blended very well between the two motors.
Well, I am liking the amount of clouds for our walk this morning. Now to keep down the oh God, are we not back to the air conditioning yet feeling?
Now see, I normally would have just shoot across that gap, but because I'm being a little cautious, because I don't know, I'm letting those cars come by. But if I hadn't had this turtle mode indication, I would have just
went then.
Just a little touch the accelerator and I'd have been
There's people here, my goodness.
Well, I think this has to do with the no sun.
Yeah, clouds.
Clouds, that's right. Hey.
Hey.
She's got on a different thing. It looks different from the rear.
He's commenting on my knees. He said the way the fabric, I guess it's pink and navy blue meets up in my knee from behind. It's funky. Not necessarily in a bad way.
Oh, I wouldn't call it bad at all.
Anyway, it's pretty nice out here, I have to tell you, for July. Can definitely handle this. Well, the spill is much quieter today since we haven't had several inches of rain this week. It's still coming over the top, but not like it was. I do like walking over here where we get to see the lake. A Bolt owner, B-O-L-T, came into the parking lot right as we started our walk, and she just came down to the bridge and turned around and went back. That'll be 2 miles. This is like a half mile from here to the high school and a half mile back. And that's how we end up with 3 miles.
Yeah, and at the rate she was walking, I would say that she's
oh yeah, she was fast.
About 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, she was plenty.
We're like 2.5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Well, I like to think it's partly because we have the weight vests on. But the important thing is we're out here. We're halfway. Yep. Yay.
I'm doing good. Today's been a lot easier. Of course, the weather's cooperated. It's I wouldn't call it comfortable, but it's not bad out here.
Most of the flowers are done over here. There's still a little bit. You can see from the recent heavy rains we had where the water came out of the little creek and ran through the woods back up in there, this being the creek. Here you've got a friend, Donnie.
Pull up.
Well, I don't care. You park where you want. But yeah. Yeah, I asked Don to come and let me walk around the garden hut. He's staying in the car, which is the right answer, because if I want to buy anything, he doesn't need to know. That's a variety of jasmine that I can't pronounce. I like the bright yellow, bold leaves with a little bit of other color. I'm coming around to look at the clearance plants. Anybody need a tulip poplar? It's a volunteer, obviously. There's where I picked up that last bonsai Japanese maple, was from this area. I'll have to bend over. That red is really pretty. Well, the ones with the very red leaves are full size. This is a dwarf. It's Makawa. Too expensive though for my blood today, or I would have to have it. Oh wow. Lime. I really do want a new purple butterfly bush, and dwarf is fine, but I'm going to keep looking. Maples are so pretty. That's a good idea. A gazing globe base, but put a pot in it. That works for me. Don may be disappointed I didn't take longer. I didn't buy anything. I went into Harris Teeter and got a chicken for the kitties and some scallops to add to our shrimp and salmon for dinner tonight. It's fish night at our house, I guess. Seafood. Well, thanks for letting me run into Guardian Angel. 15 minutes turned into 25, but...
Who would have thought?
Well, I was in both the electronics store and the big store, and I did buy something, so I had to in each store, so I went through the checkout, and I did. That was pretty good. It's just because we got groceries from Harris Teeter. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, you know, even work. It wouldn't have been on my radar. But Don, at the 15-minute interval, apparently Jules tripped some messages about VCR right, the vehicle right controller, and HVAC not nominal, and I thought we were watching SpaceX there for a minute. Nominal, you know, it's always nominal, flight this and flight that on the SpaceX videos. Anyway, Don thought he was gonna have to tell me I can't keep the groceries cool, you gotta come out, but it powered itself back up. Yeah. Because we had a BMS message about that isolation degradations coming from the battery management system. God, I feel like we work for IBM again. All these acronyms. It's good though that they know where the messages come from based on the prefix on the message. That's good programming. That's good. So anyway, we think it's just probably related to the other problem and the fact that the car hit the 15-minute mark and powered down, and it's not powering back up quite the same way without going through that fault or whatever. So right. But Climate Keep, well, it worked the whole. We had Climate Keep on at the little park this morning, the little parking area, and it was fine. But in with the person in the car is a little different scenario. So
yeah, the mode to keep the climate on while you're sitting in the car is not the same as keep climate on. Right. It is a keep function, but it's not the same. That's pretty.
Yeah, I've seen it there before. That person, and I think they work over in there.
And so anyway, after that, and when I was sitting at the other place, I had turned, when we were at the park, I had turned the climate on. So it doesn't time out. What I'm saying is that 15-minute timeout sequence along with this fault condition caused it to raise that other fault. If it didn't time out, it wouldn't have probably had that fault.
Yeah, I'll put the error messages up so you can see them right after this video clip. Our ever-evolving theories about what Jules isn't doing.
Yeah, I'm back to thinking it's the front motor because is the one that's working. The rear motor is not, because what's happening is I've noticed that she's really, just when you lift your foot off the accelerator, she's really pushing the brake pedal. So what's happening, she's simulating regen using the brake pedal, and that's why it's not smooth, or it's kind of clunky, choppy. Huh. And I came to notice this because I'm still doing one pedal driving. I kept hearing the sound of the brake pedal activating. It's like, what's going on there? And then I started putting my foot underneath the brake pedal and holding up my toe onto the brake pedal, and so I can feel her. She's modulating the brake pedal like crazy. So I'm back to the thinking now that the reason it feels so different during regen is because she's not regenning, which gets me back to the point that I had heard the front motor does not regen. So that's what's going on.
So service confirmed our appointment, sort of again, and said to go review the estimate and approve it, sort of again.
Okay.
And the estimate's $0, which is good, expected, I don't know. But the estimate's weird. So, diagnose high voltage circuit integrity check.
Yeah.
That's your concern state, said this alert appeared today. And then the same concern from the customer, remote diagnosis. That was done goodwill. The first one they said vehicle warranty. Then automated tire pressure check, which we believe. And also no update necessary to fix our seatbelt chime. I guess either we're not under that recall or it's already gone, the software's already gone on.
Wow.
But the parts that they ordered, it doesn't make any sense to me. Replace refrigerant PT sensors, remove and replace. Ordered PT sensor low pressure, PT sensor high pressure, and washer half-inch STL zinc ZN seal. So it sounds like they think all the problems have to do with the air conditioner, and I don't believe that.
Well, but you're that's possible. The air conditioner runs off a high voltage.
Right.
It gets wet. There's moisture. Those types of things. It's out in the environment. All that plumbing and the heat exchangers all out.
But why would that kill a motor?
Well, right. Well, it may have disabled that.
Because it's drawing the wrong kind of current off
Right.
the...
Yeah, right.
Well, it sounds like somebody looked at the car remotely.
Right. What I was trying to say is the air conditioner certainly could cause leakage, current leakage. In other words, this leakage or isolation problem could certainly be the air conditioner, could be part of that. Because if you do an isolation check, that document that, who sent it to us?
Adam.
Adam sent us the document. If you ran down through there, they eventually got into the air conditioner as one of the places you have to check for isolation. So it's possible. I don't know. Now why that would have put it in turtle mode, I don't know. That might just be a standard reaction
Safeguard.
to an isolation fault. They're going to put it in turtle mode.
Okay, well at any point it doesn't sound like they ordered a drive unit or anything related to that, which surprised me a little bit, and I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about with service is getting up there and they don't have what they need after we wait.
Right.
So hopefully, I mean, if the way I read it is somebody remotely diagnosed the car condition. And we know that at least a while ago, Raleigh had this guy that was really good at doing remote diagnosis, so.
I didn't scroll the screen down, and I've said that I thought the air conditioner in Jules wasn't working right. Remember? You've heard me say those.
Yeah.
I said it on camera. I felt like, but I was I guess what I was thinking is, because it's a heat pump in Jules, it's trying to do a balancing act between cooling the battery, cooling the inverter, and cooling the cabin. And on days where it's really hot, it's been sitting in the parking lot baking and everything, it doesn't cool the cabin. In other words, it's comfortable enough, you're not getting hot, but the air conditioner just runs on high. I don't mean the outside here, I'm talking inside the car. You have it on auto, it's running up on 10, blowing you away, and it's not really like super cool air. It's not hot air coming out, but it's not super cool air, and it literally ran for the entire time you were in the store a couple weeks ago. And I said, I would have preferred it cooled it off the car after running a few minutes and maybe only been on an 8, anyway, the fan was running wide open the entire time. So I don't know, maybe there is something. I didn't look to see if it logged a fault. Also, the console only said 2 faults, 2 alerts. So I guess there's a difference between an alert and the orange ones versus
right,
the red.
right.
And then the last thing we don't know is that how many other Model Ys had this problem. In other words, we're assuming...
Right, they could be looking up in the problem database or service alerts or stuff and go, oh yeah, we fixed this before.
Technical bulletin. I mean, we are 3 years. I mean,
sure,
there's going to be some kind of knowledge base have built up. So
you just can't blame me and Don. We're service people. Inquiring minds just want to know.
I'm just saying is it doesn't have to be just the fact that when it's the turtle mode it disabled the rear drive motor. That doesn't mean that the air conditioner couldn't be it. That's just, you know, logically we aren't thinking. It's trying to say there's an isolation problem, and the isolation problem is I do this, and that's what it's done.
Yeah. I just meant me and you. We can't help but try to diagnose this. Just for, you know, that's just who we are. That's what we did for a living for forever.
Right.
And Don still does it at home all the time, and that's just who we are. So, you know. Yeah.
I'm trying to fix her coffee, her
fountain.
So I was able to use some mix-up epoxy, and I epoxied her fountain back together. You know, it's going to be outdoors. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty
One
good.
of the things I talked about with Johnny is that I wanted to put my Lego buildings up top in here, and he said that was fine. I'm not planning on decommissioning his room just because he's taken off for college, but this is prime, sturdy, safe spot for, I don't know, I'm thinking I can fit 5 houses up there at least, so I'm going to start clearing it. I've got time before dinner. I'm not going to mess with the rest of the entertainment center. Most of that stuff's going to stay the way it is. Maybe over time it'll transition, I don't know, but for now, that's what's happening. Yeah, I got the top cleaned off and dusted, and these 2 shelves and the bottom 2 shelves and that area still need cleaning, plus other stuff. We already had our piece of salmon, and I just served up garlic shrimp, and we've got some scallops. I cook it, we eat it. I cook it, we eat it. That way I get to eat at the same time.
Right. You're doing good, pretty girl.
It's a little after 6. Dawn's doing the post-dinner nap thing, and I'm going to work on my build here. Probably a couple hours.
Sure does look like a nice empty drain. The sink, no water in the sink. I'll show you my plumbing task tonight, and that was to get me a bucket under the sink, hook up a pipe to the dishwasher, run it out in front of the dishwasher, and run it into a great big tub so we can run the dishwasher tonight, because we have a plugged up drain. I did put some cellophane on it because I've got that P-trap open, and rubber banded so we don't smell it. But there's something, I stuck an 8-foot snake down in there, and I could not clear it out. So I get to go under the house tomorrow and take the drain plug out, or the cleaning plug out, and see if I can attack it from that way. And then of course if not, then I'll have to go up on the roof and try to snake it down that way. But yeah, so you know, I'm just gonna have your typical homeowner Sunday.